Welcome to the Cash Confident Podcast. I'm Brie Sedano, your fearless host, personal finance expert, and the visionary behind the revolutionary Cash Confident community. Get ready to embark on an electrifying journey where we redefine the rules of money and empower women to harness the immense power to craft the life they truly, truly desire. This podcast is the ultimate resource, meticulously crafted for women who are ready to unleash their financial prowess and embrace a life of abundant success. We leave no stone unturned as we delve into the depths of money management, mindset mastery, and the undeniable influence of emotions on your financial decisions. Prepare to rise above the societal limitations and break free from the chains that have held you back as we equip you with the tools and knowledge to make bold, confident choices with your cash. We believe that true financial power begins with knowledge, and that is exactly what we deliver. So buckle up, my fierce and ambitious friends, as we embark on this transformative journey to becoming cash confident together. Hello, everyone. Brie Sedano here with you today on the Cash Confident Podcast. And today we're talking about alignment. And I love this topic so much because when I'm working with my clients, one of the major things that I'm looking at is I'm looking at their alignment. I'm looking at what is in order. We'll call it congruence, like what's all in order, what's all matching, what's all congruent, and what is incongruent to their desires. So today I'm going to run you through what goes into alignment, and I'm going to give you some examples because I think alignment is a little bit of an ethereal concept. I've studied law of attraction, I've studied manifestation, I've studied all of the universal laws for probably the last 15 years. And so it was definitely something that I understood the concept, but I didn't really understand what it looked like in practical real life. So I'm going to give you some examples about that today. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. So when it comes to alignment, most of the time, the first thing that we're going to have is a desire. There are a few things to know about desire. First is that you don't get to pick your desire. Your desire is not really yours. Your desire is universal forces working through you. However you put that. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And sometimes your desires are for you, and sometimes they may even not even be for you. They may be for somebody else. So, and I want you to understand that desires work in layers. There's little things like, I desire a pumpkin spice latte today. And then there's things like, I desire to change the national conversation about money and therefore write a book, right? Which is almost done, by the way. Actually, by the time this is out, I'm sure it will already be submitted to the publisher. So, all right, so that's something to just recognize. And we have a lot of junk around desire. A lot of us repress desires, dismiss desires, reject desires completely, don't let ourselves have them, talk ourselves out of them. And so that's something just to start to become aware of. Am I dismissing my desires? Am I disowning my desires? Am I fully and completely rejecting them? Or am I letting them in? And you'll find that life flows differently when you're on a path of desire. And I do want to say too, is that sometimes our desires are not always just for us, right? I'm going to give you a tiny, tiny example. Now, listen, in my marriage, there are not so many rules. But one of the rules that I have in my marriage is Mike Sedano generally requests that I do not have caffeine past noon time in a day. And the reason is because I generally go to bed early, and that leaves him to have time alone with the TV. He watches cartoons. I don't know what he does because I'm in bed. But if I have caffeine, then I want to talk to him during his cartoon time. And he does not like that. He's ready. He's ready for his alone time. So not too long ago, I have a standing nail appointment every other Friday, 1 p.m. I have I go see the most wonderful nail technician in the whole wide world. And this one day I was like, wow, I really feel like I could use some coffee, which is weird because really, I'm telling you, I generally have 1 cup of coffee in the morning and that is it. And So I text her, I said, hey, I'm going to stop at Starbucks. You want anything? She gives me her order. I go, I get us coffees. I get to the nail salon and she was like, you have no idea how bad I needed this. She was like, I ran late. I didn't have time. I've been like buffering a coffee headache the whole morning. And when I was running late and I didn't want to be late for my first appointment, she was like, I just told myself I'll manifest one today. And she was like, and then you asked me if I wanted coffee. And I just chuckled to myself because I saw that that desire wasn't mine, that sometimes the universe will work through you. And this is a tiny little micro adorable example, but this is it. So desires are not yours. Desires are universal forces working through you. And when we're thinking about our desire, a thing that we want to be really, really clear of is that the desire to create is often different than the desire to receive the benefit of what we create. And when we stay in that creation or in that service or in, whatever it is that we're going to give, it is generally cleaner and more effective than just desiring the money. So I'm going to tell you another little example about this because I think it's important. So I have a client who wants to make another $100,000 in the rest of the year. So the day that I'm recording this, it's right at the beginning of October, so she's got about 3 months. And she was like, all right, I'm going to make $100,000 between here and there. And I was like, okay, so that's an okay goal or whatever. But when we started talking about it, I could see that she was all wrapped up in what she was going to get. And she wasn't really remembering the service that she was going to provide. And so here's the difference is when people are in service, generally, that's where the enthusiasm, that's where the excitement, that's where like the juiciness is. And when we just think about the money, we start to think about how am I going to get it? And then we back into all the numbers and then we can end up feeling very different. Often less good. I would say less good. And so when you're really pondering your desires, you kind of want to think about it. Well, what am I going to give? What am I going to create? How am I going to serve? It just depends on what am I going to make, produce? It just depends on the context of your work. And then what am I going to get for it? Right. And it's okay to have desires on both sides. Where we're not going is that you should only be desiring to serve and you're rejecting the money that comes with it. But generally, when we are trying to make money, when we're trying to upgrade our lifestyle styles, if we're really very much in the what am I going to get out of this, that vibe is kind of gross, right? Like imagine you go to buy a car. Are you buying a car because you want the salesperson to be able to pay their mortgage that month? No, you're going to buy a car because you need a car and you want a salesperson who's going to listen to you, who's going to hear you, who's going to serve you, and then you're going to be happy to pay them the fee. They're going to make their commission. But when somebody's just in it to try to make money, you can feel that because you're like, ew, they're not even really looking out for me. They're not really even serving me. They just want my money. And that's repulsive to money. All right. So that's where I'm going with this. So desires are not yours. You want to balance out your desires. What am I going to get? What am I going to give? And sometimes your desires are not even for you. Sometimes you just have to make room for life, the universe, God, however you want to put it, to work through you, right? And that's wonderful. It's a beautiful gift. All right, so we have our desires, and that's the place where everything starts. Then we have the intention to create. All right, and that means that we let the desires settle in, and we're gonna intend to do something with it. And intention really moves a lot of energy. And an intention is just as simple as that. I intend to create this. I intend to serve this many people, make this much money, finish out my year this kind of way. Like, I'm intending to take action. I'm intending to do this, right? So intention is the next part. Then after that, we really can start to move into our focus. Focus is our sustained attention, and where focus goes, energy flows. So where we're focusing, focus is one of the most underrated powers that we have, really, truly. And here's where we're going with this. So let's just say, we'll just go back to my client who wants to make another 100 grand between now and the end of the year. If she puts her focus on, oh, my pipeline is dry, I don't have clients in the hopper, I don't have any contracts that are signed, we're putting our focus in the opposite direction of where we want to go. If we put our focus on, wow, I've already done X amount of dollars this year, and wow, people are dying to work with me, and oh, I've already served this many people, and it would feel so good to serve another of this many people before the year's out, and I can't wait to help people, do this, and I can't wait to help my clients achieve this, and I can't wait to help my clients achieve that. Those two uses of focus are going in two different directions. One is going away from the goal, which is to make the other amount of money, another 100 grand, and some are going toward that goal. And so you want to be asking yourself basically all day, especially if you're getting your thoughts kind of tangled up in a way that feels bad. Is my focus going in the right direction? That is a question you want to be asking yourself, because you do have power to move your focus. You can say, all right, well, let's focus on the positive things. Well, let's focus on what's going right. And a great activity to start to move your focus is to build yourself a focus wheel. It's an Abraham Hicks activity, and you basically take a piece of paper and you draw a little circle in the middle where you would write down your intention, right? Like we just talked about. And then you would draw out, almost like a child spider web, right? So you would make it look, you'd have the little circle in the middle, and you would draw straight lines out and then draw circles around it, creating a lot of boxes. And you want to fill in all of those boxes with evidence of the thing coming your way. And that helps you to keep your focus. And if you're a person who's just learning to control your focus, if you don't have a lot of control over your focus yet, you want to take that focus wheel and keep it in your pocket with you. So that way, if you catch your thoughts going in different directions, you could just take it out and read it again. You could put it in your wallet, put it on your phone, put it someplace where you have easy access to it. So that way, if you catch your focus going like, and everything's going to break and everything's going to down the toilet and it's a tragedy and everything is wrong with me, you could just be like, all right, let's just reevaluate. And so your focus is a place that you want to have in alignment with the things that you want. All right. Now, that's not to say that we should absolutely ignore problems, or that we should not address, something's that's coming up that's out of, it's not to say that we shouldn't use our focus sometimes to address something. But generally speaking, we want to keep our focus on what's going right and on what's moving us in the direction towards those goals. All right. Then we have our thoughts. And so your thoughts are going to be the thoughts that you just think, your internal monologue. They're going to be your belief structures, and it's going to be your judgments. And so again, if you have your focus going in the right direction, your thoughts will be following in that direction. If your focus is going in the other direction, you're, going in a negative. And when I say positive and negative, I mean one is going toward the desire and one is going away from the desire. So your thoughts, your beliefs, your judgments, you want to get those in alignment. And beliefs and judgments do take a little bit of extra work, but we're not going to talk about that today in this episode. So we're just going to move right on, although I'm sure I'll talk about it additionally. So then we have our words. Are our words going in the direction of our desire? Or are words going in the other direction? So let me just give you an example. So let's just say that, again, the desire is to help this many people this year make another 100,000. Or I'm going to make another 100,000. I'm going to be helping this many people. I want to serve this kind of people. I want to do that. So my words would be like, oh, I love to help people do this thing. Or I'm not sure if this is going to work. I don't know if I have enough time, right? Like, oh, what if I'm not good enough? I could be using those words to express my confidence in my desire, and by moving my energy toward the desire, I could be using my words to move my energy, move myself, move everything away from my desire. So again, when we're talking about speaking things to existence, your words, like we talked about last week in the affirmations podcast, when we use our words, we're using a lot of energy because we're using our thought power, we're using our vocal power, and we're speaking, and we're hearing, we're affirming to ourselves the things. So there's a lot of juice, there's a lot of energetic juice in our words. So we want to check to make sure that the words are going in the direction of our desires. All right. Then we have our feelings. And feelings you don't exactly get to control, but you want to be aware. If I think these kind of thoughts, I feel enthusiastic. I feel eager to serve. I feel delighted to do this. If I think those kind of thoughts, I feel hopeless and sad, or I feel desperate. Right? We want to be aware because thoughts lead feelings. Your thoughts will lead your feelings. So when you have your focus going in the right direction and you have your thoughts going in the right directions, getting your feelings in the right direction is very, very easy. And if you have your focus and your thoughts and your words and your feelings going in the opposite direction of what you want, you're going to feel bad. And so this is a great indicator to know, wow, I'm really feeling some flavor of bad. That is a great place for me to notice I'm out of alignment. Let me check in with myself. Let me see where my focus has been for the last few hours. Let me see where my thoughts have been, right? And so your feelings. Then we get into our actions. And actions are super, super clear, right? Actions speak louder than words. So when we're to the point of acting, all right. So when we're to the point of acting, we're really building this desire. We're taking action towards this desire. We have a lot of energy. We're putting effort into this desire. So we want to make sure that it's going in the direction of what we want. So just imagine for a second, my desire is to go 12 steps to the right, but I am taking steps to the left. We would see very clearly that doesn't make sense. You're like, that's not how you get there, right? If I say that I'm going to New Jersey, but I drive myself to Pennsylvania, I'm taking action not in the direction that I want to go. And I'm going to give you just a really quick example of this. So at one point I was talking to a woman who lost her job during the pandemic. And so she started a business and her business was going great, but her attention was so split. She was building the business. She was taking action towards the business, but she was still applying for jobs. So she was taking half of her time and she was working on her business, and the other half of her work time she was applying for jobs, but she didn't want the jobs. And so when she would get the opportunity for interviews, she would blow them because she didn't want the job. She wanted her business to work, but she wasn't putting all of her energy into her business to actually get it to work because she was afraid. And she was afraid to lose the benefits. She was afraid to lose, I think the benefits, the stability, the salary, the 401k, things like that. And so her actions were split. Her energy was very much split, right? And so she was not getting great results. Her business was going well and it could have absolutely thrived, but she was spending she was out of alignment. Her alignment was going in two absolutely opposite directions, and that was exhausting. And it was very emotionally tumultuous. I mean, she was on the edge of tears when I even talked to her to be like, what's going on? How are you? What's going on? She was already very, very upset because it's exhausting to be out of alignment with yourself, right? So so when we're taking actions, so you could ask yourself, is this action in alignment with the truth of what I desire, right? I will tell you this too. I hired a personal trainer. This was before COVID, and I had identity work to do on myself before I was able to exercise before I did the identity work. But once I started to see really good results from the exercise, I got out of congruence with myself on the thought level, right? And this was a layer deeper. It was really around like my identity. It was really my identity didn't match really getting in good shape at that point. It just didn't. And so I would go see the trainer in the morning and I would go out for beer and chicken wings at night. And this happened all the time, right? So I was taking actions in two different directions. I was taking actions in the morning toward my fitness goals, and I was taking actions at night in the opposite direction of those fitness goals, right? Okay. And so when that happens, you basically stand still. right? Because I was going 2 steps forward in the morning and I was going 2 steps back at night. And then I would go 2 steps forward in the morning and then I would go 2 steps forward, at night. And so I basically stayed the same, right? So I was taking a lot of effort, but staying the same. And that's how that goes. And then we have our money. Money is another energy that you can pour into things. And when we are in alignment and we put our money towards something magical happens. Our investments work. And I don't just mean like stock market investments. I mean, our business investments, our investments in the class that we're going to take, when like the class that we're going to take, the tools that we're going to buy, the experience that we're going to have or whatever, it's all in alignment. It makes a ton of sense. What doesn't work is when you're out of alignment and then you spend a lot of money. And I've done that. I've done that too. So I'm going to just do a quick recap for you around the alignment. And where I want you to go is I just want you to start to consider what parts of me are moving all in the same direction and where am I split? Where am I going in different directions, right? So we have our desire, we have our intention, we have our focus, our thoughts, our words, our feelings, our actions, and our money. All right. And so when all of those things are moving toward the goal that you want, you will find that things can move really, really quickly. And when you are doing things like setting intention in one direction, but taking action in another direction, or setting it, having desires in one way, but having thoughts and focus in a different direction, you're going to start to see that much moves much, much slower. And so much of what we call manifestation is really just getting into alignment with yourself. It's just really building congruence with that. So I hope that you got a lot out of this. Please feel free to review. Please feel free to share with a friend. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Bye. It was my pleasure and joy to talk with you today. Thank you for listening. If you found value in our conversation, I kindly ask you to share the show with a friend who deserves to unleash her financial power. Your feedback is so valuable to me. So please take a moment to leave a review. Together we can amplify the message and bring more money into the hands of good women. For ongoing guidance and unwavering support on your financial journey, I invite you to join the Cash Confident community. Visit www.cashconfident.com/join to become part of our powerful community of women where we uplift and inspire one another to reach new heights of financial success. Remember, you possess the power to shape your financial destiny, and with the Cash Confident podcast and the support of our remarkable community, you are unstoppable. Embrace your financial power, create the life you desire, and let's ignite a movement of cash confident women who are transforming the world $1, one decision at a time.